So to write the equation of a line, parallel or perpendicular to a given line, the process is similar, but what we have to remember is that parallel lines are going to have the same slopes. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite signs and reciprocals of each other. So one of the first things you need to do in either case is figure out what is the slope of the given line. So to do that, you're going to need to solve for y and write it in slope-intercept form, so that when we solve for y, we're putting it in y equals mx plus b form. The m is the slope, and that's the number in front of x, after you've solved for y. So I take my equation of my given line, and I want to find its slope. So subtract 3x from both sides. I have 2y equals negative 3x plus 8. Get the y by itself by dividing off by the 2. All right, so our y equals negative 3 halves x plus 4. So the thing that I know is the slope of this line. All right. So if I want to write the equation of a line, parallel or perpendicular to a line, I also need to know a point that I'm going to be going through. So in this one, I'm going to finish up this question by saying our line is going to go through the point I don't know, 2, 4. Okay. So for my part A, write the equation of a line that's parallel to this line and goes through the point 2, 4. I already know the slope. Since the lines are parallel, my slope of my line is going to have to be negative 3 halves, and I'm given a point 2, 4. That's an xy point. I go back to my formula, y equals mx plus b. I plug in everything that I know for sure and then solve for the unknown, in this case the b, the y-intercept. So the y is 4, m negative 3 halves, x is 2. Right, so 4 equals, the 2's cancel, negative 3 plus b, add 3 to both sides, and I get b is 7. So the equation of a line parallel to that given line is y equals negative 3 halves x, and then put your b in, plus 7. This line is parallel to that line. They have the same slopes, their y-intercepts are different. For part B, I want a line now perpendicular to that given line. All right, going through the point 2, 4. So perpendicular means it's going to form a right angle. That means that their slopes have to be opposite reciprocals of each other in order for that to happen. So again, I still need to know the slope of the given line. And we already know that that's negative 3 halves. The slope of a line perpendicular to that, I'm going to make the upside down t there to represent perpendicular, is going to be a positive, and then the flip, 2/3. I don't really need to write the plus sign in there, just 2/3 is good enough. And again, I've got my slope, I've got the point that I'm going through, and I write the equation of the line. So back to my y equals mx plus b formula. Plug in the slope, the x and the y. So my slope is 2/3 times 2 plus b. All right. This time the denominator doesn't cancel with the numerator, so you can just multiply the 2 times the 2 together. If you're not comfortable doing that, then use your calculator, but you're just really doubling 2/3. Here we go, there's my calculator. All right, so take 2 divided by 3 times 2, and then kick it back to a fraction by doing math, enter, enter. Right. From here, I want to subtract 4/3 from both sides to solve for b. And again, if you're not comfortable getting a common denominator and subtracting, then use your calculator. Take 4 minus 4 divide 3. Change it back to a fraction. Math, enter, enter, get 8/3. All right, so that's my b value. I have my slope, I have my b. My equation then is y equals 2/3 x, and then the b value. So this is the line that's perpendicular to this given line, and this one is parallel to that given line. So both involve the y equals mx plus b form, right? The slope-intercept form. The slope you figure out from your original line, whether it's the same number or if it's an opposite reciprocal number. In both cases, though, we had to solve for b. So you plug in the point that they give you and then find your b. All right.